The abduction. The sun was just beginning to dip behind the jagged red cliffs of New Thessalon, casting long shadows across the dust-caked homestead. Marla Cross wiped her brow with a grease-stained cloth, checking the last of the engine parts loaded into the back of her rover. She was already thinking about dinner, maybe fried root squash and synth meat, when her comms unit crackled to life. A single word came through, choked and static. "Run." Marla froze. It was Dallin's voice, her neighbor, former colony security, and the only one who knew who she used to be. Then the sky lit up. 3 sleek, obsidian dropships cut through the clouds like blades, trailing blue plasma. Empire markings shimmered on their hulls, the spiral sigil of the Zarn Dominion, the Galactic Empire's central authority. Marla dropped the comm and gunned the rover's engine, dirt flying behind her as she tore down the path toward home. The homestead came into view, and her heart dropped. Smoke rose from the scorched remains of her greenhouse. One of the sheds was burning. The front door to the main unit hung crooked, blasted open. She didn't stop to think. The moment the rover skidded to a halt, she leapt out, sprinting across the yard, sidearm drawn. Inside was worse. No bodies, no blood. But her kids, Caleb, 9, and Lena, 6, were gone. A message had been burned into the wall with a plasma torch in Imperial Standard. Offspring detained for integration protocol. Long live the Dominion. Marla stood there, fists clenched, breathing hard. Then she moved, fast, precise. She wasn't crying. Not now. The time for tears was past. She walked to the pantry and pulled the shelves aside, revealing a biometric lock panel embedded in the wall. She pressed her palm to it. Click. The floor shifted. A panel slid away, revealing a ladder descending into a dark chamber below. She climbed down, sealing the hatch above her. Lights flickered on, cold, sterile, silent. Here, the past she had buried waited like a sleeping predator. On the wall, a matte black suit of armor, lightweight, carbon-reinforced. Across its chest, a faded symbol, a red hourglass, stylized to resemble a skull. Project Widowmaker. Below it, crates of weapons, most illegal in 12 systems. Tactical maps. Implants. A retinal scanner linked to military networks she'd promised never to access again. But they took her children. She stood before the suit, staring. Then she reached up and touched the scar along her jaw, the one no med patch could erase. They wanted a monster, she muttered to herself. Let's remind them what one looks like. Above, across the region, Empire patrols moved in formation. Aboard one of the departing transports, a junior officer filed his report. Subject: human juveniles extracted from Site Theta-9. Minimal resistance. Colony civilians compliant. His superior, a towering alien with pale blue skin and a robe of imperial rank, sneered. You see, the humans are primitive, broken by grief and fear. Their women fold easily. Behind him, in a small containment room, Caleb held his sister's hand. He whispered, "Mom's gonna come for us." Lena nodded, eyes wide. Back on New Thessalon, Marla reloaded a plasma rifle with a smooth, mechanical motion. She was dressed in the Widowmaker armor now, sleek and silent. Her long brown hair was pulled back in a tight braid. Her eyes, once tired and soft, were now cold and sharp. She opened an encrypted channel with a line code not used in years. A dead man's protocol blinked green. 2. Red network. Widowmaker protocol active. Status: Omega priority. Query: trace Empire transport vessel 912HX. Objective: asset retrieval. Target: Dominion indoctrination ship Glory's Path. A reply came almost instantly. One line: "You're back." She responded without hesitation. "They took my kids. The hunt begins." Marla landed the stolen scout ship like a scalpel, slicing open the crust of Dravo's station, an old mining outpost now crawling with smugglers, slicers, and ex-military types who didn't ask questions unless paid to. Perfect. She stepped off the ramp, helmet under one arm, plasma pistol holstered low, and a blade strapped to her thigh. She moved through the crowded bazaar with the focused grace of someone who knew exactly where she was going. and what she was willing to do. Her target, Krev Zorik, an information broker with a reputation for betrayal and loose lips, both of which Marla planned to exploit. The last time they spoke, she warned him never to contact her again. Now, she was about to break that silence. With her boot, she kicked open the steel door to his den, ignoring the two guards who stood up too slow. In seconds, one was unconscious, the other disarmed and bleeding from a snapped wrist. Krev looked up from his table, blinking his 4 beady eyes. "Marla, Widowmaker, hey, long time." She slammed his face into the table. "Glory's path, Empire indoctrination carrier. Where's it headed?" He groaned, spitting blood. I don't deal with military." She twisted his arm until something popped. "You scan traffic logs. You skim NAV jumps. You know everything that moves through this sector." A beat of silence. Then, Krylos system. Outer sector. They run a conversion facility in orbit, turn kids into citizens. It's a ghost site, off charts even for the Empire. Marla nodded once. "Coordinates." He hesitated. She pulled her knife. "I'll send them. Right now. No need for the knife." Honestly, Marla stepped back as he punched the data into a drive. She snatched it and turned to leave. "Hey," he called after her. "You're not getting off Dravos without backup. They got your face flagged, Marla. Every port cam from here to the core will ping them. You go to war alone." She didn't look back. "I'm not going to war. I am the war." Hours later, aboard her stolen scout ship, Marla plotted the jump. As the engines charged, she played a recovered transmission from the Empire's internal network, hacked with the credentials she'd buried years ago. Glory's path, arriving at Krylos Orbital Facility 47 within 2 cycles. Cargo, 314 miners. Species, human. Status, unprocessed. Her jaw clenched. In the crew quarters, she opened a hidden compartment and pulled out a holochip. When she activated it, a projection flickered to life. Caleb and Lena, laughing as they played in the fields behind their home. "Back when I thought peace would last," she muttered. The ship beeped, jump coordinates locked. She strapped in and pulled the throttle. Stars stretched into lines, and she vanished into hyperspace. Meanwhile, aboard the Glory's path, Commander Threx Zor-El reviewed his reports with thinly veiled boredom. "Humans. So emotional," he sneered, scrolling past entries marked sobbing, non-compliant, silent. Their youth break quickly. A junior ensign stepped forward. "Sir, we intercepted encrypted traffic from the Dravos system. Someone pinged our location using pre-annexation codes. Earth military, black tier access." Threx arched a brow ridge. "Earth military? That backwater hasn't been relevant in decades." The ensign looked uneasy. The ping came from a user ID tagged as Project Widowmaker. Threx chuckled. "A myth. A ghost story rebels tell each other. One human couldn't possibly." Before he could finish, a warning alert blared. "Unauthorized vessel detected." Threx snapped his head to the view screen. One lone scout ship was burning hard toward them. No transponder, no fleet, no escort. "What in the frozen moons is she doing?" he muttered. The ensign swallowed. "She's coming straight at us." Back in the pilot's seat, Marla whispered into her comm. "Lena, Caleb, Mommy's here." She triggered the ship's stealth suite and armed her breaching charges. The Empire had taken her children. Now, it was her turn to take everything else. Widowmaker returns. Marla hit the outer defense ring of the Krylos indoctrination facility at speed, slicing through the automated sensor net like a ghost. Her stolen scout ship, fitted with stealth plating and spoofer drones, registered as a drifting salvage hull. Just trash. Just space dust. That was their first mistake. Inside the facility, alarms remained silent. The guards were lazy. Empire protocol was clear. Humans didn't resist. Not here. Not at this stage. Marla's boots hit the cold floor of docking bay 12. She moved like a shadow through service corridors, pulse rifle tight against her chest, helmet HUD sweeping for heat signatures. Her suit's onboard AI pinged a match. Human biosigns, southeast quadrant, level C. She kept moving. The walls were clean. Too clean. Sanitized. Indoctrination centers didn't scream cruelty. They whispered it. Perfect lights, soft tones, slow poison. Then she turned a corner and saw the first sign of it. A room of children, sitting in rows, blank-eyed, facing holoscreens that dripped propaganda. The Empire loves you. The Empire has saved you. You belong to the Dominion now. A single tear slid down the cheek of a boy who looked no older than 7. Marla's blood ran molten. She tapped into the security feed, using a portable spike, scanning rooms until there. Caleb, Lena, room C9. 5 minutes away. Guarded. Armed. She planted an explosive charge against the wall, set a remote timer, and moved on. Commander Threx stared at the control room screens with growing confusion. Systems were glitching. Cameras looped. Motion sensors misfired. He spun toward his officers. What's happening? Unknown anomaly, sir. Sector breaches in D quadrant, and someone just detonated a wall in the juvenile wing. Threx's face paled. The camera cut to grainy footage of a black-armored figure dropping 3 guards in less than 4 seconds. One shot, one stab, one broken neck. Fluid. Precise. Inhuman. The feed froze on a still image, red hourglass chest emblem. Widowmaker, someone whispered. Threx's voice cracked. Seal the facility. Lock every blast door. Get the enforcers now. Marla was already inside. She cleared room C9 with brutal speed, disarming a stun turret with a single EMP dart. 2 Empire guards leveled rifles. She didn't give them a chance. A burst of plasma, a flashbang, and it was over. She stepped through the smoke. Caleb looked up, stunned. Mom! Lena ran to her before the word finished. Marla dropped to her knees, arms around both, holding them so tight her hands trembled. I've got you, she whispered, voice low and deadly calm. You're safe, but we have to move. Now. The escape wasn't clean. Empire shock troopers swarmed the lower corridors, firing wild, desperate blasts. But Marla knew this facility better than they did, because she helped design its cousin during her Black Ops days. She led the kids through a maintenance shaft, laid traps behind them, proximity mines, tripwire explosives, signal jammers. Each detonation bought seconds. Seconds were all she needed. In the central tower, Threx watched his elite forces fall one by one. She's dismantling us, he muttered. He pulled a final option from his command console, a neuropulse bomb. Non-lethal to most species, but enough to drop humans into a seizure state for hours. He activated it. Marla felt it instantly, a sharp spike in her skull. Her vision blurred. The suit's AI blared warnings. But she gritted her teeth and jammed a small injector in her thigh. A counter serum she'd developed years ago. Risky, painful, but effective. Her vision cleared. She lifted both kids in her arms and ran. Docking Bay 9. She triggered the signal for her scout ship to descend from stealth and breach the exterior glass. Dramatic, loud, exactly what she needed. The ship crashed through, venting atmosphere, alarms screaming. Marla dove into the open bay ramp with Caleb and Lena as auto-seal foam patched the hull breach. She didn't look back, not at the guards chasing them, not at Threx screaming into a broken comm, not at the burning wreck she left behind. Minutes later, as the ship jumped to hyperspace, Caleb curled into her side. Mom, are you a soldier? Marla kissed the top of his head. No, she said softly. I'm your mother. Empire's reckoning. The Empire thought they could run. After the Krylos facility burned, Commander Threx fled to the core indoctrination hub, Fort Karen, a floating fortress in deep orbit, protected by dreadnoughts and defense grids. It was where the worst of the reconditioning took place, where the indoctrinated became tools. Weapons. He thought he'd be safe there. He thought she wouldn't follow. That was his second mistake. Marla came in cold and fast. Her stolen scout ship had been retrofitted, reinforced, and armed with tech she was never supposed to access again. She jammed the outer perimeter with an illegal core seeker virus. Defense turrets froze. Targeting systems blinked dumbly. The Empire's sensors saw one ship. What they didn't see were the 8 explosive drones trailing it, programmed to detonate in sequence around Fort Karen's thruster banks. Inside the command deck, Threx screamed at his crew. "She's just one woman." "No, sir," whispered a terrified officer. "She's Widowmaker." The first explosion rocked the station. Lights flickered. Atmosphere vented from a ruptured ring. Marla punched through the hull with a mag-breach cannon and stormed the corridor in 0G. Her suit clamped to the floor. Her rifle sang in short, controlled bursts. She moved with mechanical grace. Duck, fire, move, kill. Behind her are bodies. Ahead, one objective. She wasn't just here to escape now. She was here to end it. Meanwhile, on her ship, Caleb and Lena sat safely in a shielded pod. An old AI protocol from Marla's past, Motherlock, ran the systems. It had one purpose: protect the children at all costs. Lena watched the chaos on the screen and whispered, "Mom's not like other moms, huh?" Kayla nodded, eyes wide. "No, she's better." Marla reached the heart of Fort Karen, a command chamber surrounded by armed sentries. She walked in slow, gun lowered. "I came for my kids," she said flatly. "You made that mistake once." Threx stepped forward, face red, sweat shining on his brow. "You can't possibly think you're walking out of here alive." She smiled, just a little. "I'm not walking out. I'm burning this place to the bones." With a flick of her wrist, she activated the dead man trigger. Drones, charges, remote hack viruses, all synced to one point: the Empire's master indoctrination database. Threx's eyes widened. "No, you don't know what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. Millions of records, protocols across the galaxy. Gone." She opened fire. The room became a hellstorm of blaster fire and screams. Marla spun behind cover, vaulted over the command console, and drove her knife into Threx's second-in-command before turning her sights on the rest. One by one. No mercy. No hesitation. Finally, it was just her and Threx. He crawled back, a smoking plasma burn across his arm, blood in his teeth. "We're the rightful rulers of this galaxy. You humans, you're animals." Marla knelt beside him, calm and precise. "You stole my children. You burned my home. And you thought I'd just cry and beg." She leaned in, voice cold and quiet. "You stole from a mother, not a soldier. That was your last mistake." She left him there, sobbing, as the countdown hit 0. Outside, her ship's AI flared a red icon. Detonation confirmed. Karen offline. Later, drifting silently through hyperspace, Marla sat in the crew bay with her kids asleep beside her, their heads resting on her lap. She looked down at them, the hard lines of war fading just a little from her face. They were safe. The war was over, for now. She leaned back and closed her eyes. Across the galaxy, word spread. Empire forces on fringe colonies withdrew. Recruitment stations went dark and whispered through the shadows of space like a curse. "Don't touch human children. The Widowmaker will come for you." She doesn't stop. And somewhere in a deep Imperial war room, a general stared at the report in silence, then looked up, voice shaking. "Ow, how do we not know she was human?"